Welcome back to the Popwood Shop. It's time for another shop tip or trick. And today we're going to talk a little bit about your jigsaw. Now most jigsaws, probably 90% of the jigsaws out there these days, are pretty sophisticated. And they've got a little switch right here that you may not know what it does or you didn't read the instructions to find out about it. What it does is actually changes the angle of the blade. And that's a good thing, and it can be a complicated thing. So let's take a look at the differences. Each jigsaw is going to be slightly different. In this case, we have 4 settings. We have a 0 setting, which is where we are now. 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you got it set on the 0, what happens is the blade, when it goes up and down, goes straight up and down. No problem there. When you kick it over to 1 or 2 or 3 in this case, what happens is when the blade's going up and down, it also moves this way. So it's getting more aggressive during the cut, which is valuable if you're trying to move through a board, a 3/4 inch piece of something quickly. This more aggressive cut cuts more quickly. But there's a little bit of a downside too. And let's take a look at the pros and cons on some boards. With our switch set to 0, with the blade going straight up and down, we get a nice clean cut, although it's slower. What you'll find out is it cuts on the pull, and so the tear out at the top is not so bad. Now when I switch the setting to 3, because of the forward motion of the blade as well as the up and down, it's going to tear out more. As with any jigsaw cut, if you want to reduce the tear out, you can always put a piece of masking tape over right where you're cutting, and that'll reduce tear out regardless of what setting you're using. Now, the other situation is when you're cutting a tight radius. Jigsaws are actually pretty good about that, but because of the different throw in the blade, you're going to have a different experience with a 1 setting or a 0 setting and a 3 setting. This is on the 0 setting, so let's take a look at how easy it is to catch onto this circle. Now that's still a pretty tight radius, and I got some burning in trying to make that turn. But we were able to pretty much stay with it at that 0 setting. Now I'm going to switch to the 3 setting. Let's give it another try. It's a lot harder to maintain this circle, although we were almost able to do it. But because of that kick forward with the blade, you can't turn as tight a radius. So if you're doing tight radius work with a jigsaw, you want to use the 0 setting, not the 3. It'll give you a cleaner cut. Jigsaws are great tools in the shop. They do so many things for you in so many different applications, and they're so portable. But take a little bit of time to learn about how you can best use them so you get the best performance out of it. That's all for today.